says we're live. We are indeed live. Welcome everyone to a random Wednesday edition of 4GwQPodcast podcast at 6 p.m. Eastern. This is a weird time and a weird day for us, but you know, my schedule's hectic right now. I can't wait to move and finally get into a set schedule here, but nonetheless, we're coming at you live with episode 173 on June 20th, 2018. Got a few topics tonight. I think it's going to be a show on the shorter side because Assassin and Clowns are like addicted to Sea of Thieves right now, so they're dying to get back to that. But nonetheless, there are a few topics we definitely have to give our opinions on. So we'll get into those in just a bit. Before I do that, let me introduce the panel. Of course, making his 173rd straight appearance, CBCI Assassin. What's going on, bud?
Hi.
We got to work on that. We got to work on that intro for you because that's it's not working for me. Not working for me. We gotta get you into something like
episodes later. No, it's not doing it for you.
I guess that's true. I guess that's a very good point. Nonetheless, whatever. Making his I don't know how many straight appearances. We got Tiny Clowns. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
It's the Clowns. Watched Xbox the other night, actually. He last night I caught a little bit of a stream. He was showing off the new avatars thing. That looks pretty cool. Can't wait for that to come to out of preview. What is that, like an alpha ring right now? Do either of you guys have that, the new avatar system?
Yeah, I downloaded it the other day and then like broke my Xbox for like a second.
Really? Wow.
Like, I've had issues before. Like, I guess like the HDMI and the TV just weren't like doing something or whatever, and the screen was like all weird, and it took me like 10 minutes to get fixed.
Wow, that sucks. Interesting. I've been out of the preview program for like at least a year, so I don't get any of the cool stuff, but nonetheless, I am jealous of that avatar thing and want to fool around with it because it really is different. Like, it kind of reminds me, and Xbox was saying this, and I kind of said to myself, huh, that's actually true. It kind of reminds me of the characters from like Connected Adventures or Connect Sports on the Xbox One, not the Xbox 360 ones, but the Xbox One version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, tonight we're not talking about that. We're talking about three things. Number one, first and foremost, something we didn't get to last week. Fortnite debacle. A lot has transpired in the past week, so I'm kind of glad we skipped it during episode 172. So we'll get to that this week. First out of the gate, we'll get into that and talk about a little community reaction, a little bit of Sony's reaction. So a lot of information has kind of started brewing here with this Fortnite fiasco that is going on with the crossplay blocking and all that nonsense. We'll also talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 becoming backwards compatible. I did buy it, hoping to see it tomorrow at my office. I got it for a sweet $7. I thought that was worth it. So I'm looking to get back into that. And of course, we'll get into maybe the beginning of the end for GameStop. I never thought this day would come, you know, but looking like that may be in the sights. Who knows? We'll talk about them looking for a buyout option for their company and what that means for the future of maybe, brick and mortar retail. But anyway, before we do that, let's just give a shout out to the Inner Circle Network. We are an affiliate podcast now. A bunch of great guys over there. Clowns writes for the site for, like TV shows, comic books, nothing really video game related, so to speak. I mean, he did write about the Sea of Thieves comics, so that is video game related. But Clown's looking to get back into that. See, I wish I was more in the comic scene, but I'm just not, you know.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to have some zombies comments coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So Clown's going to be writing all about that over on Tick Network website. So we're happy to be part of that network. Go check them out. More to announce with our collaboration with them in the near future. I think we got a meeting going on this weekend that Gonna talk about some new stuff that's gonna be going on. So we'll let you guys definitely know about that. All right, let's get right into it. Let you guys kind of open up with this topic because I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because I know you're not the biggest Fortnite players, but this is a big story, I think, in that if you're a video game fan and have been maybe living under a rock and didn't hear about this story yet, haven't formulated your own opinion on it, Sony is blocking now crossplay on consoles. So you can still crossplay with PlayStation on PC and on mobile, but if you want to sign in with your Epic account on Nintendo Switch or on Xbox One, you're going to be met with a nasty message that kind of says can't do that anymore. So at one time you couldn't necessarily cross-play on Xbox One, but you could do cross progress. So if you bought, like the Battle Pass, or if you bought outfits or emotes or any of that stuff, it would carry over, but not so much anymore. So that's kind of a thing of the past, and Sony doesn't look like they're gonna do anything about it, because Sony, according to Polygon, wrote this article. It says Sony's response to Fortnite controversy is embarrassing. They essentially say they don't want to fix it, that they're perfectly content with their player base on PlayStation, and it doesn't look like they're gonna fix it. They've kind of avoided talking about fixing it. So I want to get your thoughts, you guys. Whoever wants to go first on this, what do you guys think about this whole Fortnite debacle?
It's disgusting. Like, accounts should never be blocked. If on certain platforms. Like, imagine if like Battlefield or Call of Duty, like, I know your progress doesn't carry over and stuff, but that is just to be blocked out because you played a PS4 first, and then you want to go to a different platform like on a Switch and play it on the train or whatever. Like that's just disgusting. And then the response be like, yeah, we have this many people on PSN, like we don't need crossplay, it's fine. Like that's just a terrible excuse, and it just it's so disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. I think that it's childish, because this is a game that it's a way that Epic has kind of made it not a good thing, but kind of made it acceptable to have microtransactions and Battle Pass and stuff like that. People will think, okay, well, it's free to play. I can play it anywhere. If I can pay once and have all this stuff across everywhere, I can literally play it on the train, like you said, on the train, or on the shitter or what have you, right? Like, you pay once and you have on all those platforms, you're more likely to buy the Battle Pass every season, and you're likely to buy emotes and outfits and all that kind of stuff. Like, you're way more likely to do that if you feel like you're getting value on multiple consoles. And now Sony is kind of like holding your Epic account hostage a little bit, because if you've already done this, you're kind of like shit out of luck. So the
problem is Sony doesn't want you to buy any of the microtransactions on any other consoles, because they get a cut of what people buy on Sony. So what the developer said on Twitter, I think just today or yesterday, said that it comes down to money, and that Sony doesn't want to unlock it because they want you to have to rebuy everything on the PS4.
Yeah, funny that you kind of segue into that, because Eurogamer had this. I think might have had this first, but it was on Twitter. But in terms of article wise, I think Eurogamer had it first when they talked about what Clowns just referenced, that John Smedley is his name. He used to be the boss of PlanetSide 2 H1Z1 back when Daybreak Game Company was, Sony Online Entertainment, or whatever they were, SOE. He's like, okay, when I was working for Sony, like, they flat out just said they don't want, I'm paraphrasing, but they, said internally it's all about the money. Like Clown said, they want you to, own, they don't want cross progress, because cross progress means you can potentially buy that on PC and pay Epic directly instead of paying Sony and them getting, whatever cut they get. I don't even know what kind of numbers they would get. But that's a good point. and it's kind of shitty because, you know, this game is kind of like, I don't want to say bigger than Sony because that's kind of like naive, but in terms of its reach right now, like it is the most popular thing. You know, obviously Sony wants a cut of that, but I think there's a way where Epic can, you know, profit share a little bit with these companies. They probably already do. You know?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't really know what the terms of that are, but is this just like Sony being greedy? Because I'm sure they get some sort of cut.
Definitely comes down to the greed aspect. I mean, the greed aspect is the number one thing because keep in mind that technically right now is keeping Sony in business. So they want you to keep spending money on their network, on PlayStation Network. And the second thing is, why would they want to risk losing players? Consoles, like let's say that somebody primarily plays on the PS4 and then all of a sudden they buy the battle pass, like, oh my, I'm gonna go to my friend's house, he's got an Xbox One, I'm gonna try it there. You know, my sister has a Switch, I'll try it there. And if that person leaves the PlayStation Network to primarily play on other devices, I mean, that's money that Sony's potentially gonna be losing out on in the future for games.
Yeah, and you know, like that's a good point too, because to take it even further than Fortnite, I don't even think that this is necessarily something that should be a trend. Like, I don't think that there should be cross-play games across every single platform, you know, for every single game. Like, you want your exclusives, you have your exclusives. You want your, you know, games like Fortnite that are, you know, free-to-plays that can go across all platforms. I think that is a place too. But, like, I like your point is a good one, because I think that if companies let, you know, Sony, if it's Xbox, even if it's Nintendo, whoever, if they let this happen and then this becomes a trend in gaming, then it's definitely going to hurt their bottom line overall. Like, this is one game. Granted, it is a really great game and it is a far-reaching game and its popularity is insane right now, but you know, at the end of the day, like, if I were Sony, just to avoid the bad press about it because of how big the game is, I'd just let it happen, because I don't think that this is going to be necessarily the future of all games quite yet, you know? Because if this were the future of all games, then maybe I see their point, but this is just one game. They're getting profits otherwise, you know? It's kind of like... What were we going to say, Assassin?
I just said, yeah. I was agreeing.
Like, you know, this is all the other game, like with Rocket League, that kind of swept under the rug, right? That they wouldn't do crossplay. Okay, fine. But with this, it's kind of like Nintendo's playing nice, and Microsoft's playing nice, PC's playing nice, Android's playing nice, iOS is playing nice. Like, literally everywhere is playing nice. You know what I mean? Like, if this was on your fucking TI-84 calculator, they would be crossplay too. And then you got Sony, who out of nowhere was playing nice, and then it comes to a platform that, you know, potentially some of their users could own. Like, what was it? I think Matt Piscatella from the MPD group on Twitter said that 40% of PlayStation owners have a Switch as well. So now that it's finally like a platform that, you know, that PlayStation owners could probably own and buy it on, it's like, oh, okay, never mind, you know. Because not everyone owns a PlayStation and an Xbox, and not everyone owns a PlayStation and a gaming rig, you know what I mean? But 40% of people own PlayStation and Switch, so it's time to fucking end this. Like, we see, you know, not a competitor, but we see, you know, someone taking our profit share. It's crazy. Let me see in the chat here, because there's some comments coming out. Michael Monkey Punch 77 Lugo says, Sony just wants you to spend your money on their platform because I tried to play Fortnite on Switch and kicked me out of playing with a PlayStation account. Yeah, you can't even do that. Like, you can't even go on and unlink your PlayStation account and then be all good on your other platforms. Like, if you've ever linked your PlayStation account, you're essentially fucked. Like, it says in the screen that pops up, it's like, if you want to play on another platform, like, you have to make another Epic account. It's like, oh, are we fucking kidding me? Like, come on. Predator in the chat says, now that Madden and FIFA are on PC too, they're thinking about doing crossplay. You think Sony will do the same if EA allows Madden Ultimate Team or FIFA Ultimate Team Progress to work across all platforms. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, those games I think are not as big as Fortnite, but certainly, those are big titles. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, they wouldn't allow that. I mean, a bunch of people I know who play, I mean, they're like 12, but they play these games and they spend their money on these packs, like, so they must sell like pretty well. I think even EA, on their earnings call saying that they've earned a bunch of money from these games. So I don't see them doing the crossplay stuff.
Yeah, probably not. Clowns, you in the same boat there? You think EA would do or Sony would be the same way if EA did this with Madden and FIFA?
Absolutely, because Sony wants you to spend, that dollar on the microtransactions on the Sony platform. They don't want you to be able to carry that progress over. It's going to take a whole new change of leadership at Sony, or it's got to come from their investors with pressure to change these anti-gamer tactics.
Mm-hmm. Now, there was some talk that Sony stock dipped a little bit after this conversation of the Fortnite thing, and then some people were saying, oh, it's not actually a Fortnite thing. There were other reasons why the Sony stock dipped. And it's funny that you mentioned investors because that kind of directly correlates with stock values. But do you think that investors in Sony for their PlayStation, like for their gaming division, do you think investors there are kind of thinking that this was a bad move, or do you think they agree with Sony's move on this?
I think at the end of the day, when they go home at night and they see all this negative press, I think they're going to think it's a bad move, because here's what's going to happen. Parents that are looking to buy new consoles for their children in the future are going to be like, well, everybody at school is playing Fortnite, and if they're playing on the Xbox or the Switch, my kids are not going to be able to play it on those platforms if I get them PS4, so I'm going to have to go with either a Switch or an Xbox One for now. Deter some people from buying it. Now, I know PlayStation's way ahead in sales, so at the end of the day, are they going to care? I don't know, but investors will certainly care if people stop buying the products that Sony's making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of it like that. Sasson, what do you think? Is this like something investors can get on board with because it means more money for Sony in the end, or is this like too much negative press over a game that's so big that it makes Sony just look worse in the end, like Clowns is kind of suggesting?
I think some people or some investors probably won't care, because at the end of the day, people are still spending money on something they invested in. But then some people will be like, I hate negative press. Let's sell, or whatnot, or be unhappy.
Yeah, like not to like enter into the console wars too much, but just hear me out on this, because if you think about negative press that Microsoft has gotten over some stuff, it's like resolution gate, right? It's like 720p versus 1080p. They got a lot of negative press for that. But at the end of the day, like when it comes to something like that, parents aren't thinking like, ooh, I just heard that Microsoft only gets 720p, so fuck that, I'm buying my kid a PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like, parents aren't necessarily thinking that, but they may think like, ooh, I just heard Sony's getting some bad flack about not allowing people to crossplay on their system on Fortnite, because all my kids talk about is Fortnite and all everyone talks about is Fortnite. So maybe I'll think twice about buying a PS4. Like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I think... Yeah. I think that this kind of negative press means more than negative press over something like Resolution Gate or like delays of games on Xbox. Like for us gamers, if you were to start over and you knew what is going on now, like maybe some of us would consider sticking with Sony instead of Microsoft, because, if you value like the AAA output, you value resolution from the get-go. Like if you knew the X was coming, maybe you'd get a PS4 at first and then get an X later or something like that, but in terms of like parents or in terms of casual gamers buying, they're going to look at Fortnite controversy as like a bigger problem than like Resolution Gate even, I think. But I don't know. Predator says Sony stock dipped about $2 a share. I mean, I don't know what it started at. That sounds like it's probably a big number, but I'm not sure what it started at. And if that's because of the Fortnite thing, then Sony better be like prepping an official statement better than the one that they friggin' gave, because the one they gave makes them sound like the old, cocky, where, we know better Sony that, sunk the PlayStation 3 at the beginning.
It went back up a little bit. It started out 9:30 a.m. today at 48.95 a share. It's up to 49.56. So, okay. I think there's definitely some correlation though between and their practices.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, man, I can't believe that negative press about a free-to-play game is what could potentially. I'm not saying it's churning the console war by any means. Like, I don't think that's happening, but I do think that this is like, putting a very negative cloud over Sony recently, and it just like compiles on the other crossplay shit. Like I said with Rocket League earlier. Remember, like we were all talking about Rocket League back in the day. They weren't like crossplay in Rocket League, or like with Minecraft and stuff like that. It's like it. You get those games, and it's like, okay, well, whatever, like, you're kind of upset, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a big deal. And now it's like Fortnite, like the biggest game on planet Earth right now. People are like, oh shit, like this is a big deal now, and it just like stacks onto that other nonsense that it makes a big deal,
Yeah.
It's all about Sony losing money on Battle Pass, because if you crossplayed, they would not make money. See, what I would think is that maybe Epic makes a deal with all these places, and there's some sort of profit sharing no matter where you buy it. Now, I know that would never happen, because, you don't necessarily buy it and crossplay. You know what I mean? It's not a mandatory thing. Like on the consoles, for those that don't know, you have to like check off a box in order to crossplay. Like you don't just like matchmake into lobbies with PC, mobile, PlayStation, or Switch now, not PlayStation. You don't like cross play automatically, so it wouldn't necessarily make sense for them to profit share. But to make everyone happy, maybe they could work something out. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of GameStop stock, yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. Predator. We'll get into that in just a second. Before we get off this Fortnite topic, one really quick thing that Predator mentioned in the chat that I did want to get to about this Fortnite thing is he says, who all of this helps is Epic. And that's an interesting angle let's get into that first, because I'll get into the other thing after about the Xbox. But this Epic thing, right, where people are saying, and probably rightfully so, is that the winner in all of this is still Epic, because they're going to make the money either way, whether it's crossplay or not. But then they potentially going to make double the money now, or not double, but people are going to double dip. Like, for me, I've played Fortnite on PlayStation with people, and not that I'd necessarily buy the battle pass again, but if I have my favorite emote and my favorite skin, like, there's potential. And, you might have to just buy it again. And that, in the end, the one who's making more money is Epic. It's not like people are going to boycott Fortnite now, because it's not their fault. You know what I mean? Fortnite just wins in all this. Or Epic wins. You guys agree with that?
Yep, and it keeps their name in the articles, and people are going to still, check it out, see what it's about. Brings more players, more money.
Can you imagine, like, the side effect of this is, like, just more players in general? Like, obviously it's going to look like more players because you can't crossplay anymore, but in the end, they're going to be like, oh, why is this in the news? Like, is this really that big of a deal? Let me, it's free. Let me go ahead and download this and check it out. And then next thing you know, that person spent like $100 in microtransactions.
The more 9-year-old daughters are going to rehab for playing Fortnite.
Yep. Get that World Health Organization official gaming addiction designation, right?
Yep.
Oh, this is a great spot for Epic to be in, to be honest with you. Number one, they're getting positive press on the crossplay side, negative press on the Sony side. So, I mean, their name's everywhere right now in the articles, no matter what. The second thing is, win-win for Epic because people have to rebuy the stuff on PlayStation. Epic gets money. They buy the stuff on the Switch or the Xbox, they get money. So it's easy for Epic to keep passing the blame on the Sony and look innocent at the same time while raking in cash. If they really wanted to, they could just tell Sony, we're going to pull our game off your platform unless you make it cross-platform compatible. Or they can even say, hey, if you're on Sony and you bought the Xbox, we're going to give you a free battle pass on PlayStation.
Right. Yep. And obviously neither of those things is going to happen because, Epic doesn't hate the money. They love it. So, Epic can, with this Fortnite thing, Epic can essentially do no wrong now. Right? I mean, like, it's gotten to a point where Fortnite is essentially like Blizzard game territory of being infallible. Like, literally, Fortnite, people were, even us were mad about the battle pass at first, and we were upset about progression being hidden behind a paywall and stuff like that. But then, the fact that you can kind of unlock the next season, you just pay once and you can kind of unlock enough V-Bucks for the next season, or buying the battle pass enables you to unlock more V-Bucks to buy other things. Like, we kind of saw the positives in it, and now I think Fortnite is in a position where it's just like, what could they possibly do? This is like the closest thing that could happen to making them look bad, and it doesn't even make them look bad. Yeah. The only thing that could make them look bad is if they all of a sudden like started charging for the game out of nowhere. It's crazy. All right, one last thing before we move off this topic that I want to get your opinions on, and I know Assassin has something to say about this, is people are kind of spinning this into console war fodder by saying that now Xbox, like, even though PlayStation makes you rebuy the game or rebuy the battle pass and progression and all that, Xbox really looks bad because they're the only platform where you can't play this truly for free because you have to have Xbox Live Gold. So there's been people, spinning it into a negative on Microsoft, and, this all kind of cascaded from the Nintendo Switch release. Remember that they announced it at E3 last week. Actually, they announced it like a week and a half ago at this point. Like a week and a half ago at this point. They announced that this was happening, that it was going to be out now, the whole spiel, and everyone was like, "Oh, great! I'm going to download it on my Switch." And then that kind of like led into this cascade of press about this game, and people have been turning that into a negative thing on Xbox. And Assassin was kind of the one who kind of brought this to my attention, so I know he has something to say about this. So, take it away. You think this is an appropriate time to bring back up that argument, or what do you think?
Well, I think. See, the argument's kind of like stupid in a way, like, because we all know we're paying for gold, so I mean it doesn't really matter for us. But like, obviously, like if there's a billion Xbox Ones out there, not a billion people are paying for gold. And I truly think, just like PlayStation, free to play games should stay free to play. You shouldn't have to spend, $10 to $60, depending on how much money you have, to play a free-to-play game. Like I've said to other people, my dad, he can't, he's working a lot. He's, a bunch of other things have happened in his life in the past year, getting like a new job, and like my stepmom went to college and she quit, her job, and all this stuff. Like, he can't afford PlayStation Plus. I'll be glad if he even, can pay for it, a brand new game at launch. So he's been playing like a lot of War Thunder and trying to get into some World of Tanks because they're somewhat similar. And that's all he plays. And it would be totally disappointing if he would have to spend $10 a month or, $60 a year just to play something that's totally free. So I think Xbox really needs to change it to free to play games don't need gold. Like I know when the 360 was out or whatever, you needed gold to watch, like, I believe Netflix and stuff. And then they swapped that out where you don't need gold to watch Netflix. Like, they need to now do that for free to play games, especially with a bunch of new free to play games that are coming in. I think War Thunder is coming out on the Xbox. We got that I forget the game that was shown at E3. World of Warships is coming to console. I think you can sign up for the alpha now. Like, there's still going to be a bunch more free-to-play games coming down the line that people have options to play with. It's not like, the beginning of launch where you had, like, one free game. Now you have, like, hundreds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. My bad.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. So, people are mad because this free-to-play thing is coming up again because of this Fortnite. But honestly, like, Fortnite, I think, is debatably... I mean, obviously, you can debate this, and please do in the comments or, hit us up on Twitter or whatever. Fortnite, I think, is the best... and most compelling free-to-play title on anything. I think it's the most polished. I think it's the most addicting. I think it's the most I don't want to say fair, but I kind of do want to say fair because it's not, who's to say what's fair or not, but I think, they drop you in, it's, you're 1 out of 100 and everyone has the same access to weapons and you can't like pay for better weapons or better tanks or better, what I mean? It's just a fair game genre that, is accessible to everyone. I think it is the best, or at least in top 3 of all free-to-play games on essentially any platform, but maybe not PC, but any console. I think it really is, and even iOS. Like I think it's right up there, and I think it's probably right that, or it's probably not right, but it is an appropriate time to bring up the argument again about the Xbox Live Gold. And your situation that you presented with your dad is a very good point, because there are people that buy these consoles for cool free-to-play games, and I think while buying the console for Fortnite, that's probably not a good thing, but there are so many quality free-to-play titles now that, like, yeah, it's realistic if you don't, if you're not having a lot of money and you have one of these consoles because you want to have a PlayStation, you want to have an Xbox One, whatever, you want to have a Switch, like, it's realistic to only play free to plays and still enjoy yourself, Yeah. But I am not happy that people are spinning this PlayStation thing, which is really anti-consumer, into an argument against Microsoft, because the argument against Microsoft has really been there for a long time, and I don't think it has anything to do with this Fortnite thing. And it is, I am on your side as well, Assassin. I think that Silver, I think that it's, I may be wrong on this, but I think it is maybe as easy as just saying, okay, Silver people can play free to play, is great, and that's the end, that's the end of it. Yeah. But the Finest also says in the YouTube chat, he says party chat's hidden behind a paywall on Xbox 2 for on PlayStation.
That shouldn't be a thing either. I think party chat should be available for everyone.
I can see both sides of that argument personally. I think that party chat, I think maybe like party chat up to a certain amount of people should be free for everyone, but party chat is, the quality of the sound on party chat is just so superior to what it is on PlayStation that I understand that there is a money value associated with that, because the quality of the sound is just so much better. Maybe not the connectivity, but the quality of the sound and the mic, the microphone and the speech is just so easily like understandable that I can understand that, but I can see, I mean, you're talking to your friends, like, is that really something you should pay $60 a year for? Like, come on.
It should be free, especially if, like, let's just say Xbox changes their stance on gold with free to play. Like, now you can't have party chat. Now you're gonna be talking to, like, let's just say we're playing World of Tanks here, and I forget how many people are on our team, but all these people are not talking to you. Maybe you just don't want to, you just want to talk to your friends. And like, I don't know how their voice channels are. Like, I know Call of Duty can like mute, your party or everyone. Like, I don't know if that's on like every game these days, but
yeah,
like that gets annoying. Where somebody like, "Oh, you suck," blah blah blah, there's a bunch of bad words, and you don't just don't want to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to essentially make it mandatory to have separate game channels that you can set up, or like on Battlefield, you can have like a squad channel, they would have to make it mandatory like that. But I'm definitely more on the side of it should be free than not, but I could see the argument on the other side of that. But the being able to play free to play games, I am on the side of like 100% on the fact that it should be free to play. Like, I understand the infrastructure costs money. It costs money on both. It costs money on everything. But kind of like what Xbox said in the YouTube chat, people should call it out, not use one instance to justify the other. And that's the thing that is annoying the shit out of me on Twitter these days, is that people just like use negative things about one to justify saying negative things about the other. Like, if you've been calling out the free-to-play thing like Assassin has for the entirety of this gen, then good on you. But if you're all of a sudden calling it out because of what's going on with Fortnite right now on PlayStation, which is truly anti-consumer, then I'm sorry, but you're a hack and a bitch, essentially. Because, I don't know why, like, how that somehow gives you some sort of, like, keyboard warrior status to bitch about it all of a sudden when you weren't affected by it, No. Go ahead, Klaus.
I'm sorry. My wife was busy ordering me some Winnie's Baconator instead of Assassin.
Oh my god. How can you say that to me right now?
But on the other hand, if we're talking about the instance of where we pay for gold and people complaining that, we can't play free-to-play games on Xbox, but we can on other platforms, we still don't know what Nintendo's going to do in the future with their online system.
That's true.
So potentially, we might have to pay a Nintendo just to play Fortnite in the future. We don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Xbox, we've all been paying for Xbox Live Gold since the inception of the original Xbox. It used to be like $15 for 3 months. To me, I'm accustomed to it, and it really doesn't bother me. I know there's people out there that say, hey, it's not fair. Everybody else is playing for free on PC and PlayStation. Technically, we have the security of Xbox. Xbox is a very secure platform, more secure than PC, than PlayStation Network. Mm-hmm. Just recently, even the latest PS4 firmware has been hacked by the underground scene. You don't see any hacks going on in the Xbox community because their DRM is so good, and Xbox Live Gold definitely pays for some of that protection. Plus, we get discounts on games, and we get games with gold, 4 games right now, like every month. I can't complain about that.
Yeah,
but
good, Assassin, good.
Like I said earlier, like if there was 100, let's just say 100 Xboxes out there, like not everyone's gonna be buying gold. Like there are, like I brought up a good, subject. People like my dad, he can't afford it. There's people out there who can't afford it. So be people who maybe buy a game a year and that's all they play. Like,
yeah.
Good, what the finest said is definitely true. Sony does have discounts too, so I can't really knock them for that. But you do pay for the PlayStation Network if you want the PlayStation discounts and the free every month PlayStation games.
Yeah, you definitely get bigger discounts with Plus for sure. You get bigger discounts with Gold too. I think what Clowns is saying is definitely true in that, the argument could be made that playing a free-to-play game on your console makes you more susceptible to being hacked, because if hackers were to go after a certain sub base, they're probably going to go after people who play free-to-plays because, it's easy barrier to entry, Like with Fortnite, for instance, I bet you Fortnite is definitely up there on user counts right now on Xbox. And I think that, if the Xbox Live Network were susceptible to hacking, then, that would be like target number one, because you could get, a lot of big hits on that. That said, if you know, say for instance, like on PlayStation, there's a free to play game, and on Xbox, there's a free to play game, and on PlayStation you can play it for free, and Xbox you can't. Like 2 platforms, I'd be like, I kind of be more okay with it, but like literally with Fortnite and with some other titles, it's literally every single platform. You know, it makes Microsoft look bad. That this keeps happening, and literally they could just say tomorrow, you know, free to plays you can play on, you know, you can play on silver, but you know, beware because you know you don't have these protections and blah blah blah. I don't know if that's even possible, but they need to. I think that for Microsoft to look better for charging for free to plays, they definitely need to make the play that Clowns is saying. They have to say like, you know, we use that money to lock down our online, and we use this money to protect you as the gamer from, you know, stuff that's happened on our rival platforms in the past couple of years. Like, it is a real concern, but for casuals that don't give a shit about that, it looks bad. You know, like Assassin's dad, for instance. Like, he's a casual. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, he probably should, but you know, in the end, like, he's not thinking that, you know, Xbox Live is the superior ecosystem for online gaming because of the protections we're afforded. Like, he doesn't, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, they should do like a lot what PlayStation does. You see, like with a lot of their free to play games, it'll be like a PlayStation Plus pack where, you know, you get a skin for your, you know, character, you get one for like your glider and like a backpack. Like that they gave like incentives, you know, like you know, like PlayStation Plus, that you have it, you get these packs for these free to play games. Like that'd be cool to, you know, not make up for it, but you know, just free extras.
Yeah, incentive
to Fortnite.
Right. And Microsoft could definitely swing that. Like, Microsoft has the pull to swing that in a lot of their free to play games. I mean,
yeah, and one of their Xbox quests, I think for the month, I think it was like last month, you play like Fortnite 5 different days for like a half hour, and you got like some skins. Like that's cool. Like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maximum like every month or something. I don't know.
It's basically it's kind of like what Epic is doing with Fortnite itself. Like, if you just look at the game itself with the battle pass, like, you know, we all thought it was bullshit at first, but then you think about it, and you know, they're incentivizing you buying the damn thing with cool unlocks and the ability to you know, unlock a progression system that eventually nets you more than the value you're putting in, because you're unlocking the next season if you save your V-Bucks, or you're unlocking other things that are normally paid for. You know, that's how Microsoft can win this argument. Go ahead, Assassin. Sorry, my bad.
But now other games are copying that model, and it just is so irritating to see like Rocket League and PUBG adapt similar models. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I tweeted about that earlier. I'm like, I saw that pop up when I got to work, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe PUBG, the company that was bitching about Epic copying them, and you know, I don't know if the lawsuit actually happened, but they were like threatening to sue them. Now they're doing, you know, they're copying back because they saw how successful that model is, and bravo to Epic, man. Bravo. I mean, that is a brilliant model, and it's changed from the, you know, typical like season pass model, from the paid DLC model, and you know, I think it's a great mixture between like paid DLC and free DLC. I think it's brilliant, but you know, Microsoft, we're getting to the point where, and Clowns is right, because we don't know what Nintendo's going to do. Like, maybe you're not going to be able to play Fortnite for free, so maybe that'll make Microsoft look better. But if it doesn't, Microsoft, I think, needs to get that message out that, you know, gold is actually extremely beneficial, more so than they've been doing, because, like I said, I don't think casuals really give a shit about the protection and all that, even though they should. All right, enough about that. We got to move on, because that was like 40 minutes on Fortnite, but it was a great discussion. Thank you, people in the Thank you, people in the chat, for a great discussion on that. Really appreciate it. And if you have anything to say about this topic and you're mad about me calling you a bitch because you're all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork about the free-to-play thing, let me know in the comments. I will take the flame, no problem. But, I mean, it's true. I mean, if you're going to all of a sudden complain about something when it's been existing for a long time, just because of this Fortnite thing, then you have better things to complain about, I'm sure. You should probably get off that bandwagon. Speaking of, I think what Predator had to say earlier in the chat, let me see what he said. Let me scroll up a little bit. He said earlier, speaking of stock, GameStop stock in November of 2013, the month that these consoles launched, it was $56.53, and today it is $15.71 at close. Holy shit, that is a tank job. And so everyone, of course, is reporting about this GameStop looking to get bought because they're in trouble. Obviously, they're looking for a buyer for their company. I don't know if that means that if they don't find one, they're going to go under, but their obviously investor confidence has been trash. Obviously, their stock has in 5 years has gone down. Not even 5 years has gone down 80% almost. Probably close to like 70, but you get the point. Yeah, I mean, I guess GameStop stock is recovering a little bit after the drop about, the initial drop. But, yeah, what do you guys think about all this? I know, yeah, I don't know if you guys are happy to see this, sad to see this. I don't know. My relationship with GameStop is essentially over, so I don't really give a fuck if they go away. But what do you guys have to say about it?
Kind of sad if GameStop would go away. Like, I don't really shop there that much. Like, I'll go once in a while for like used games, or I know they have like this partnership with Microsoft where it'd be like 86 cents. You could get that 86 cents in Microsoft credit. Like stuff like that. Just because sometimes you don't have the like 25s, or you have like a weird amount. So it's nice to go there and get that weird amount in credit. But at the other hand, I don't know about other people's GameStop. My GameStop is like 3 walls of stuff, and then everything else is like clothes and toys, and like it's not like the GameStop I remember maybe like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, more like Walmart at this point, without the food and hardware.
Yeah. No, I mean, man, I very rarely go into GameStop now, and I feel that is. I used to go there all the time. I mean, I worked there for a few years. I obviously, I loved Funko when that first started, which is essentially the precursor of GameStop. I loved EB Games. I loved the people there. I loved, the experience of going in there, checking out new games, trying new games out. But obviously, we're in a day and age where you don't even need to do that anymore. And, like you said, your GameStop is, less games than it is now like merchandise. And that's kind of a way that they have to fight this digital battle, because fewer people are buying games on discs and more people are trying out games through demos or free-to-play weekends, or they're getting sweet deals on digital games online, or they have like Gamers Club Unlocked, which is ending, but whatever. They've got Prime, they've got other ways to get discount on their games, and GameStop is just not matching that. And then they had that system that they were supposed to have during the summer where you'd be able to like take out games and essentially rent them, any used game in the place. And then they all of a sudden shelved it when it was getting good press. So, I mean, I don't know about the leadership there. I don't know what the fuck's going on. They had that controversy about, I can't remember what it was called, but all that controversy they had about essentially, people losing hours so extremely because they're not like selling the subscriptions or like the disc protections and all that. I can't remember what that was called, but all that controversy they had a few months back. Circle of life. Thank you, Chicken Spaghetti in the chat. Appreciate it, bud. The circle of life nonsense.
I'll say better than Amazon, better than Best Buy. Thank God Gamers Club Unlocked is going the way of the dinosaur.
No way.
I'll tell you this, man. With my Elite Pro membership at GameStop and I flip games, I'm making like $300, $400, $500 each flip. I'm not making pennies on the dollar. Like, I'm buying stuff on discount on Amazon for like $5, $15, and I'll flip it at GameStop for 30, 40, 45. I remember I walked in there with like a stack of maybe like 10 games, and I traded my old PS4. I walked out with a PS4 Pro, a year of PlayStation Plus, a year of Xbox Live. I walked out with controllers. I walked out with Switch games. I mean, like, I'm just stacking up.
So needless to say, you're upset.
Club Unlocked or Amazon discounts. I just take games and flip them, and that's my discount. And I don't pay anything other than the Elite Pro membership fee.
Yep. I hear. What is that, like $30 a year or something like that?
Year, but if you flip enough, you get that for free too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you make it back, no problem.
Points, like, so I was, not only did I make all those trades and all those buys because I walked out with the PS4 Pro and everything else, but I got double credit. I got credit on the trade-ins, I had 3-time bonus points, and then I got 3-time bonus points on the buyouts, and I walked out with two $50 gift certificates from GameStop as well through the rewards program.
Yeah, I will say this. I think in an attempt that GameStop has genuinely tried to stay relevant is with sweetening up the trade-in values. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but at the end of last gen, even into the beginning of this one a little bit, trade-in values at GameStop were absolute dog shit. Like, they went through a point in time where trade-in values at GameStop were horrendous. Like, easily like half what they are now. And then you had the Best Buys, and you had the Amazons, and you had all these other places taking trade-ins. And then, GameStop had to respond. And GameStop had to sweeten up the deal to get people in the door. And they did stuff like what Clowns was talking about, the Elite memberships, and with, their Power Up reward system, and with, weekends where you get 50% extra credit, or promotions where you get like 40% extra credit if you trade towards this game, or whatever, right? They've played nice with that market, but I don't know, Clowns. You think that market is just like dying out, or you think because people are switching to digital, like a side effect is the fact that the trading market is just dying out, or why is this even happening?
According to PlayStation Lifestyle magazine, they posted a tweet today, an article that gamers still prefer physical copies right now, and they think that the digital increase will increase over the next 2 game and console generations. I think, eventually corporations are going to force it on us, but gamers still like their collectibles editions, man. Like, shout out to Boom and everybody else. Mooch, they all like the collectible editions. They're going to go out and buy that $100 comes with a statue and what they like it.
Yeah, but
so
they could easily just put
physical's still a thing.
They could easily put a code instead of a disc in there.
They could, but I mean, that would actually potentially make them a little bit more money. But then, like, what's the value of a steelbook? Like, what are you gonna have, an empty steelbook? Like, all those collector's editions come with the steelbooks. What, are they gonna send you one with like a fucking code in it?
You can find steelbooks that just have nothing in them on the internet.
I don't know about that.
But
I don't know. Have you legitimately seen that?
yes, I have. You can find empty steelbooks.
Oh, really?
Let me find one.
Yeah, please do. Please do. What are you gonna say, Clowns, bud?
About this, and even Al and I and a lot of people on G-Pass Gamer made huge off this on the last 60% trade-in bonus that GameStop did. A lot of us were going to like Walmart and buying Plants vs Zombies for like $14.99 and flipping it in the 60% 6 for 6 for like $40 a pop.
Yeah, dude, that sale was epic. Everyone was getting in on that and getting so much money off of their Xbox One X's, or like paying for their Xbox One X's, like straight up. I remember that deal. That was epic, dude. And that was a height of GameStop. Like, I know that they probably don't make a ton of money off those. I mean, obviously they have to make some sort of money or else, you know, what's really the point of that, right? I don't think that's necessarily going to get people in the door to GameStop for a long period of time. I mean, a lot of those people, unlike you clowns, I think a lot of those people, you know, just did it and then they stopped going to GameStop again. But maybe some of them did and they stuck with GameStop. I don't know, but I remember on Facebook, we were kind of talking about this back when that happened on the podcast. We were talking about how on Facebook, GameStop was like, yeah, no, it wasn't, you know, we knew what we were doing and we're probably going to do that again. Yet I don't think I've seen another one like that, you know?
Doing it right now.
Right now. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see what's going on. Wow,
they're doing a trade deal. They're doing 2 trade deals. You can get 50% extra credit if you're an Elite Pro member doing the 6 trade-ins, which I'm going to be trading some Telltale stuff I got super cheap, flipping them for a nice profit. And then they're doing another one where you get a bonus if you buy Xbox Live cards or PlayStation cards and you tell the cashier you're doing it for Fortnite. There's a bonus for that too as well. Like I think 40% extra per trade if you're going to buy a gift card.
Yeah, they have been doing that recently. That's a sweet deal. Yeah, 40% extra credit when you trade in towards Xbox, PlayStation, and iTunes currency cards. When you play Fortnite, like they don't even know if you're playing Fortnite. That's such bullshit. It's literally just like if you buy the cards.
GameStop not too long ago to get gift cards like that, and the guy's like, "Oh, what are you using it for?" And I winked at him like, "Fortnite."
Nice. Oh, that's good. Oh my god, Assassin, have you been successful in finding your empty steelbooks on Google?
Well, my computer's been extremely slow.
Oh well, okay. They probably do exist. I'm like busting your ass, but they probably do exist.
There's one that on eBay you could buy it, you know, by itself.
Midway Monster on YouTube is supporting your argument, Assassin. He's saying Quantum Break came out. He went to GameStop for the midnight opening, and the employee gave him an empty Quantum Break steelbook. Well, I think that might have been an accident. I don't know. That's actually. Can you imagine, like, if you went to midnight releases and they gave you the case and it just had like the codes in it? Although PUBG does that, right? PUBG at retail, you buy the case.
Like a paper box. It's not like a normal box.
Okay. Real quick, there's something else I wanted to get to in the chat. Okay, Chicken Spaghetti has a really bold prediction that I know Clowns disagrees with right off the bat, is that digital will surpass physical this holiday. I guarantee it. You heard it first on 4GwQPodcast. Clowns, take on that?
I mean, I did say that before. I did say that digital will eventually kill physical, and I even said that shit out to Crossfire. And at the time, I think it was like 3 years ago, and I was told I was crazy, but I saw it coming. It is going to happen, and it's great for lazy people like me and Assassin who don't want to get up and switch discs. Why not buy digital?
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to happen, and I don't know if it'll happen before the next gen, but I mean, this holiday, I feel like, you know, there's too many deals on physical stuff during the holidays, you know? Like with Black Friday and with Cyber Monday and, you know, all the incentives that these brick and mortar retailers get you in the door, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Kohl's even, for fuck's sake. Like, you know, Xbox thinks midnight releases are going to be celebrated more if people are buying digital, because it's going to be celebrated on Mixer, Twitch, etc. See, I know a lot of people who think midnight releases are going the way of the dinosaur. But if they're broadcasts, you know, and seem like they're a social event and that they're cool, then I think, you know, maybe it's not going to go away. Maybe it will get even better because, you know, I think Best Buy actually does the best midnight releases. Best Buy usually does like parties and stuff. I remember going to a Gears of War one around here. And maybe it's because I'm in a major market in the Boston area, but I went to Best Buy and they legitimately like had the couches and the Magnolia TVs like set up with Gears. They had a tournament for prizes. They had pizza and drinks and stuff. And I'm like, shit, this is a fucking midnight release, man. This is good shit. But Yeah. All right, GameStop Xbot has an opinion here to weigh in on this GameStop talk. GameStop is slowly going away with digital and other competition and selling games, buying pre-owned. They won't rebound from all of it. Yeah, sadly. Sadly, because you know what? GameStop was really cool back in the day. Like, you know, before the Gree period, before the Circle of Life, you know, they're trying to rebound with these cool trade-in deals now with, you know, awesome stuff to get you feel like you can, you know, your stuff has some value still. They used to be really cool. Midway Monster says it was not an accident with the quantum break thing. He just said, take it. He has got some extras, so it replaced the plastic case. He just put the game in the steelbook. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad if they just sold the steelbook empty and you just slot in your game that you bought. That's a good idea. All right, anything more on this GameStop stuff? Or
Nope.
Assassin, will you feel bad enough? I know Clowns goes there all the time, so I can't ask him this question, but will you feel bad enough about this news to make a few final treks into GameStop if this actually does lead to the end?
The only time I'll really go back a bunch of times is either A, I need a weird amount of Xbox credit, or B, they have store closing sales and I want some games.
I mean, they probably will have that, but
And everything good will be gone, and we'll
Yeah,
be left with
right. There's gonna be people like Clowns like sniping that shit. Clown's gonna be like camping out. He's gonna buy a trailer. Wow. He's gonna buy a tent at fucking LL Bean or some shit.
If GameStop does going out of business sales, I'll be there, man. I'll be camping the dumpster too to see if they try to, you know, throw
Nice.
stuff in the dumpster to pick up later. I'll be there.
Nice. I know you will. I know you will. If there's one guy I think that would be camping out for that shit, it would be you. Malasaya Russell, what's going on, bud? He says in the YouTube chat, haven't bought anything physical since Halo Master Chief Collection. I've been all digital since. Wow, that's been a long time to be all digital. But I mean, I don't blame you. It is really freaking convenient, and for the, you know, for the midnight releases, for the, you know, sometimes the games like release at 9 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Pacific or whatever. You're able to instantly play it. That is a really huge benefit to some of these big games.
Yeah.
All right, one last thing that Midnight Monster mentioned in the chat before we move off this GameStop topic. He says, do you guys feel that there is a place for gaming stores / trade-in stores, or is that going to go the way of antique stores? Yeah, I mean, I think gaming stores in general are still doing pretty good because I think a lot of them have gone the retro route. I think more often than not, especially around here, I think you see gaming stores that focus on like retro merchandise or like merchandise in games that have to do with like certain brands, not necessarily just this wide gaming store of just like, let's come in and just buy some video games. I think it's more like an experience and more like a nostalgia thing nowadays that gets people into gaming stores. Trade as in terms of the just trade-in stores, I mean, those probably already exist and they're like pawn shops, right? I mean, I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't do too well because then what is that store gonna do with those games? You know, if they're just gonna resell them, then it's just essentially another GameStop, and that's not working out really too well right now. But you know, if they have rare stuff, if it's like a store dedicated to rare stuff, I think that could work. But, and I don't mean rare the company, I mean rare like hard to find or expensive or whatever, but like specialty. But
Before we end the topic,
yeah, please.
I just want to say I know how to save GameStop, and this will work. Change the name to Funkoland.
Yeah.
Put retro stuff inside the video game store. Put nice statues, nice console, you know, displays, and do gaming tournaments.
Yep. I 100% agree. You got to go back to those days, dude. That is when that is when that company was like rolling, dude. Like just absolutely rolling. I know they didn't have the presence. I know somebody in the YouTube chat mentioned this already, that there are too many GameStop stores as it is, so they have to cut them down, and maybe that'll help them, be more profitable. Of course, that would probably help, but I think back in the day, like when they were Funkoland, when it was really like a, come in and enjoy the game and try stuff out, and as a community, like gaming as a society kind of thing. I think that was when it really was a unique experience that made you want to go like specifically to Funkoland. Like if I want to buy games, I have so many options. You can go to Best Buy, Target, Walmart, whatever, right? But like if there was a store like Clowns is kind of saying, like Funkoland style. If you don't remember Funkoland, ladies and gentlemen, go look, because find some videos on that. Look on Google, because that was quite a store. Like literally, you could go in there and grab a game and put it on a console and play it before you bought it. Like it was epic. But yeah, I think that's what they have to go back to. Assassin, last word on this. Do you think there's a place for gaming stores or trade-in stores, or you think it's just going the way of the dinosaur?
I think most of it's going away like the dinosaur, but I mean, there's a few places by me that sell like everything, like movies, games, consoles, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think stores like that will stay for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But places that just like GameStop, I don't think.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you. They have to make it an experience. I think that GameStop has like lost that appeal of making it an experience. I think that's the problem. But in GameStop, they're trying to sell multiple things, like you're saying, Assassin, with like movies and stuff. They went the movie route a little bit. I mean, they're going the merch route, but at the same time, it's like they're kind of losing their identity by doing that. So,
yeah.
But all right, last topic this evening, or actually, this is kind of like the second last topic. The last topic is really like a really quick one. This is like a semi-quick topic for the evening. I would say that I don't expect to talk about this a ton because it is Call of Duty news, and it's not necessarily, riveting, like breaking news, but Modern Warfare 3 is now backwards compatible on Xbox One. So if you own that, or if you don't, it's currently $14.99. It's on sale this week on Deals with Gold, which ends on Tuesday, of course, of next week. So grab it for $14.99 if you're interested in that, Assassin. I'll get your opinion on it in a second, but I know he said to me that it was one of the best multiplayers out there. So if you're interested in that, I know that community is still there, so you can log on and play. I know a lot of people were streaming it, and even like before this announcement happened, there were still a decent amount of people playing it. Before I get the opinions of the panel, I do have to check in and take a quick note of how many Call of Duties are backwards compatible, and sneakily, I would say, because obviously I knew that a lot of them were, but I look at this chart right here that Lady Foxfire actually tweeted this out earlier, so shout out to her for tweeting it. But did you know that Modern Warfare 2 is now the only non-backwards compatible Call of Duty game on Xbox?
Yeah.
So I'm the only one surprised about that? Like, obviously we've talked about it in the podcast a bunch, right? That all these comes backwards compatible. But now, like, I don't know why. I just look at this right now and I just see all of them that you can play on the Xbox One. And Modern Warfare 2, which was my favorite, is the only one that's not. But I just look at this and I'm like, holy shit. Like, a franchise that when backwards compatibility first got announced, I never thought would actually go backwards compatible. You know what I mean? Like when they first announced backwards compatibility for the 360, I was saying not a fucking chance in hell that Call of Duty or major franchises get on board with this. And now, a couple years later, and essentially all of them you can play. You know, I think that's cool. But yeah, Assassin, please, as the resident Call of Dutyite, I suppose, tell us, is this a big deal for Modern Warfare 3 coming back, or is this not as good as some of the other ones, or what do you think on this?
Well, personally, I think it's kind of a big deal because I really enjoyed Modern Warfare 1 through 3's like story and how they just came together. So like I'm really excited that's happening, but I was kind of actually surprised Modern Warfare 3 was coming backwards compatible. I thought maybe they would do remaster all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why we haven't seen an MW2, because there's all those rumors that no multiplayer is coming, but the campaign was going to be bundled with Black Ops 4 because there was no story in Black Ops 4.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I was kind of surprised to see Modern Warfare 3 come, but hey, it's here and I'm excited. But I totally forgot it was here because I've been so excited. Or not excited, I've been distracted by Sea of Thieves that I haven't even took out Steelbook case to install it.
Dude, you better install that shit because I bought that and Clowns helped me out get a good deal on that because I was about to buy it for more and he hit me up with that DM with the screenshot of Amazon's used section. If you go on there, there's like I don't know, like hundreds, if not 1,000 people selling that game on Amazon right now. You can get a good deal on it if you want to go the used route. If not, and you want to grab it digitally, $14.99, decent deal. I mean,
if you can get it cheaper, why not? Look, when I went on to Amazon, I was buying Morrowind. I got a sealed case, like never opened, from Goodwill in Seattle. Shout out to Goodwill. Thank you, from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I mean, that was a good find. Wow. Yesterday, I went on here to buy this, and there were like 700 options. Right, there were 700 people selling on Amazon US for Modern Warfare 3. Now the game is right now new is $14.95. Okay. So yesterday there were like 700 options. Today 422. So like 300 people have bought this on Amazon the past day, used. Right now, you can get it for as cheap as it's looking like. Let me see. Oh, like $6. Looking like the cheapest you can get it is like $6 right now, if you include shipping and stuff. Some people have it for like $2, but then they add shipping. But looks like you can get it for like $6 right now if you act quickly on Amazon. Malasai Russell says Modern Warfare 3 was a sign of things to come with Infinity Ward, as it definitely was a drop in quality in comparison to the first two games in that particular series. Assassin, thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was definitely like, I mean, between Modern Warfare 1 and 2, like there was that leap of awesomeness, and then Modern Warfare 2 to 3, it was more like people called it like Modern Warfare 2.5, and there had a bunch of aspects of that, but I mean, the game was still, I thought, one of my favorites for multiplayer. I think that was the last Call of Duty besides World War II. I put in a bunch of hours into.
Yeah, Clowns, I know you obviously play a lot of Call of Duty as well, and did back in this era. So what did you think of Modern Warfare 3? Do you think this is a big deal of coming back? Or
Modern Warfare 3 was my favorite one to play online. I was a beast on that one. I'm like Assassin on the new, World War II back on the Modern Warfare 3. That was me. I was getting like 40, 50 kills, very high up there. And I liked it better than Modern Warfare 2 because Modern Warfare 2, everybody did the care package glitch.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember. I was one of those people who did that with like the emergency airdrop.
Wow,
and you
asshole!
Just packages just raining down. I thought that was so cool.
Dick.
Yeah, I was.
You with what, the rocket launcher several times, the bazooka, whatever it was.
Remember, I wasn't around for this, but there was that javelin glitch.
Yes.
Where like you could just blow up, and I think it was the reason why Dead Man's Hands is in Modern Warfare 3.
Yep. Oh my god, the memories. Yeah, dude, I'm excited to get into Modern Warfare 3, and I never played the campaign of Modern Warfare 3, so now I'm gonna give it a go. Get those sweet chivos.
I think it's better to play Modern Warfare 3's campaign after you play the first two, because I mean you'll understand Modern Warfare 3's campaign, but like you'll miss that, It's like watching, the The Last Jedi, and you haven't seen like any of the other Star Wars movies, like you can still enjoy it, but you're just gonna miss things.
Yeah, so I've played. I vividly remember Modern Warfare 2's campaign. Modern Warfare 1, like I tried replaying it on the remaster, but I didn't get through it all. Modern Warfare 1's campaign, surprisingly, I don't remember a ton of. Modern Warfare 1's campaign. I don't know if I said that. Modern Warfare 2's campaign, I remember a decent amount of. So I think I'd be probably okay playing Modern Warfare 3's campaign right now. But yeah. I did kind of want to like play them again in order because I know they're not really that long. You know, I think those campaigns are obviously excellent. I remember Modern Warfare, the sections of MW1 that I got through, and you know, all of Modern Warfare 2's campaign I thought was pretty good. You know, I did buy this for $7. I'm excited to get it, and I'm definitely gonna be kicking Assassin's ass on it, essentially. And apparently, I'm gonna get my ass handed by clowns. Apparently, so.
We should play some of those spec op missions. I thought they were just so good.
Absolutely. All right, really last topic, really quick before we get out of here. What the fuck is with this American Doll bullshit? Like, what was Microsoft thinking with licensing the Xbox brand to American Doll? Like, how do you think that that's like a good thing to market right now, especially on Twitter? Like Larry Herb, you know, Major Nelson comes on and posts and tweets this out and is like proud as a pig in shit that American Girl is making dolls with Xboxes, and it's like, where are their heads at right now? Like, what was your just? I don't want to like you know, get into this a ton because, you know, this is just silly shit. But what was your first thought, you guys, when you saw this?
I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought it was like a joke. I had to make sure it wasn't like April Fool's. But on like a serious note, like, I don't think this is like a bad idea. I mean, you got, you know, a bunch of, you know, people, all, you know, races and genders and whatnot playing games, and kind of, you know, just show like the younger kids that have dolls that, you know, video games are, you know, made for everyone, not just for, you know, boys.
I get that point. And that is a cool thing. That is a cool thing because I think there are more women gamers now than ever, and I think that is a huge sector of gaming that's gonna explode. And you know, you're seeing a lot of female streamers. You're seeing a lot of female. You know, shout out to El Boogie and Lady Infamous, and you know, all those, you know, Foxfire, all those female gamers that are legit and doing things for the female gaming community. I know Boogie, the Boogie and Lady Infamous, you know, take a lot of time out of their schedule and attend like women in gaming conferences and stuff like that. And like, I think that's an awesome point, but I don't know if it was right to like advertise this on Twitter necessarily, like as, you know, as if.
But I mean, it's Xbox branded. If they don't advertise what, you know, if it's an Xbox or Microsoft thing, you know, it just, I don't know, it just be.
No. I think it's fine to advertise it as a Microsoft thing, and I think it's fine for Microsoft and Xbox personalities to advertise it. But I think Microsoft needs to know that, like, throwing this up on Twitter as if, you know, if you make a joke of it, if you're like, you know, if you post it and you're like, now in an area you totally didn't see Microsoft going into, and then you post this. But like, I feel like some of these guys are posting this like, you know, like Matt Kesselring, for example. I love Matt Kesselring. Met him 2 years ago at E3. He's an awesome dude. He's around my age, like real gamer. You know, awesome guy in the, you know, hardware oriented. And Matt Kesselring posted about this doll thing like it was a huge win for Microsoft. Like it was like a you know, not like it was a pleasure to work on it. Obviously, it was a pleasure to work with him on it, and you know, that's admirable, and I don't knock that at all. But this isn't like big news like the Elite controller. You know what I mean? This is like, I feel like they're almost treating it like the same as if it were like some sort of accessory release, and it's kind of like, Like, come on. Like, if you want to advertise this, advertise it on TV or in malls or, like, in some other way. But on Twitter, ugh.
Yeah. Do you see how much it is, though?
No,
my God.
I did not. I did not.
$50.
That's how much those dolls go for, dude. That's cheap, actually, for American Girl. And don't ask me how I know that.
It's just the accessories. $50? Like, come on.
Oh, wait. It's not even for the doll?
No, the doll's not included. It's $50.
Oh, my God.
And what I didn't know is that Xbox One S console actually projects, like, title screens. Like,
no.
I thought that was read the description. It projects like 2 or 3 different title screens.
No.
Like mini games. Obviously, you can't play the games, and they're on little cases. Like, I mean, it's better to have your brand on these dolls than some some third weird party game, knockoff type thing. Like, I mean, it's not free advertising, but it's advertising to these younger girls or boys if they want American Doll to come play some Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what? I just knocked Kessel Ring for advertising this. He probably was the one who got that into that Xbox. Shout out to him for doing something like that. Like, that is actually kind of cool. But I still don't agree with how he advertised on Twitter. But I do. The sentiment is real, and I think they should be excited to get into another sector of advertising. But I just cannot believe they posted on Twitter in the way they did to advertise this thing. It's like, what the fuck? Slim Cargo says the doll. No, just no. And shout out to a few guys on Twitter, most notably some of the Next Level Gaming podcast guys, another Tick affiliate podcast, talking about how it's nonsense. People are calling this like the doll fiasco or like Dollgate. People are actually tweeting that. Now it's not that, it's not that egregious. Are you not playing games? Why are you knocking a company for doing this? I don't knock, don't get me wrong. My criticism with this thing is not even the doll. My criticism is the fact of how they treat it on Twitter. You want to go ahead and sell American Girl dolls with Xboxes if that's going to make you some money? Fucking do it, man. Own it. Own it. But yeah, people are saying doll fiasco, Microsoft's doll fiasco, Dollgate, they're saying is a big problem in Microsoft for doing something like this. Come on.
We don't know if it was on PlayStation. The Xbox guys would be saying that, and the PlayStation guys will be like, it's so great.
Probably.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's getting some little, kids or adults, I guess, if they like that type of thing, some gaming accessories for their doll. Maybe that's what they enjoy, watching games with their parents or older siblings, and they can, have their doll do the same thing.
Yep, I agree.
You can buy accessories for dolls that, cook and drive, and why not game?
Yep, I agree. I think it's an awesome idea in practice. Man, I actually missed it. Made a mistake on this slide because what the fuck is this slide? I meant to do it with the Larry Herb tweet, not even with the doll. But I was more outraged about the Larry Herb tweet. I saw that tweet and I'm just like, oh my god, this is a fail. Malasai Russell says no other bad Xbox news, so the trolls have to something to jump on. Yeah, probably. Clown's last word on this. What did you think about the doll in general and how it's been portrayed by Xbox?
I think what we all should do is that if Assassin creates an Amazon wish list, we should all send him one. So he, on Christmas or his birthday, opens up his door and he's overwhelmed by all these American dolls, and we could see his reaction live on Twitter, how happy he is.
I agree. Now, Assassin, you got to do me a favor. If I buy you this doll, and send it to your house, will you record yourself opening it? And on top of that, will you portray, that's not the wrong word. Will you display it proudly on your either nightside table or desk or bureau?
if somehow I get this stupid doll,
You're getting the
which
doll.
I hope we don't,
You are.
or I don't,
You are.
I will put it right next to my computer. So every time we have this podcast, I'm looking at that stupid doll.
No. Every time we have the podcast, yeah, and then at the end when we say the goodbyes and you do like your wave thing, and in the intros as well. When you say hi, you need to throw up the doll.
Like,
can we
hide
agree
your
on that?
face and hold the doll up, and
Yeah.
you can be like, you can talk in the doll's voice and be like, "Hi, everybody, this is Assassin," and wave the doll's hand around.
All right, we're gonna get you the doll.
Let's go half and half on this.
We're gonna get you the doll. I don't know if you can order that shit online or not, but I have an American doll store like maybe 30 minutes away from me. I can go ahead and grab that, and we're gonna send you the doll. Ouchie in the YouTube chat, shout out to him, says, put it on your shoulder like a parrot. I agree with that.
Oh my god.
I would do that. Malasai Russell says it's straight up mean for me to do that. What do you, dude, you heard it, Malasai Russell. You've been here listening to the podcast. He's been the most positive about this doll on the panel, man. So,
look at the smile on Assassin's face right now.
He wants the doll, man. He wants the doll.
I really do not.
He does. He's lying. He's just being
day and age Assassin where it's okay to get a doll, even if you're a grown man and you're out of toys. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like you can call it an action figure if you want. I mean,
I can call it an action figure
if you want. I mean, if that makes you feel better, but I'm gonna go ahead and get you the doll. Anyway,
see if King David can get an Iron Lord shirt for that doll.
Yes, I'm sure he can. Yeah, I'm sure he can.
Get one from all the podcasts. Get one from next podcast. 4Guys Tech.
Yep.
Every podcast for the doll. I'll start looking around and seeing who can make them.
Yeah, that's you change it weekly. This will be a bit. This will be a bit. You change the shirt on the doll every single week. This will be a bit. Yes. And for every podcast when you display it. Yes. No, this is great. When you display it, it has a different shirt. So like people will tune in and that's like, let's check in with the doll. Like, let's see what shirt they're displaying this week. And then Assassin will be like, this week I've got my doll in, I've got my doll in Iron Lord's gear. Shout out to the Iron Lord's podcast. So like, I've got my doll in Taco Bell, gorditas for $1.99 this week or some shit. We'll
there you go. A Chucky doll. That's a lot better than American. Whatever.
And now fuck that. You're getting this doll, dude. You're getting the doll.
I mean, you can even go to like the Party City or something and get like the little kid's Halloween mask and put a Chucky mask on this doll for you on Halloween. I mean, what's the difference?
There you go. It's happening. Getting the doll.
Oh god.
Getting the doll. I'm gonna tell my girlfriend you want the doll, and she's gonna be so excited. She's gonna want to go to the American Doll store and like pick it out, and like she's gonna want to double check with you to see like if you want the blonde or the brunette or the one with the blue eyes, and the one with the, we're gonna make this happen. So
you get a custom headset and a custom controller for the doll.
Yeah, it looks like
the Xbox comes. I can't believe I'm going with this. It comes with the headset, chair, console, controller.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
Games.
Your house, you're player number 2, like right next to you playing.
And her Xbox, and like you gave her a kiss on her forehead at night, and like put her to sleep under like Xbox blanket or some shit. Like this is gold. We're gonna have to run with this.
Marketing, Inferno, you're a marketing genius.
We go live with anything, whether we're streaming, doing the podcast, what have you. Search 4 Guys with Quarters on Google. You find us everywhere. Except Twitter, where you'll probably have to type in 4GwQPodcast because 4 Guys with Quarters is too long. Yeah, I could probably make the doll a blanket as well at the office. I'd have to see what I can do, but we'll probably make that happen. All right, enough about this doll. Let's get back to gaming. Dude, you'd get like millions of hits if you recorded a bit that was like, and we got like a professional person to make a song that was like me and my doll, and like it was just you like playing your Xbox and you're doing for a Twitter handle. So follow us there. Follow us all individually. Podcast is going to take a completely new look in the next couple weeks. So stick around for that because it's going to be if I do say so myself, it's gonna be freaking awesome. Like, I'm pointing down like as if it's below me or something. Hit that subscribe button if you liked it. Give us a thumb up. Hit that notification bell so you know cast here. Thank you for coming to check it out, everyone. I know it was a weird day, but if you're checking the replay, then it's probably whenever you usually check it out. But yeah, if you're checking this out and you haven't yet, please click that subscribe button. And we're gonna have some new capabilities here that will make viewers want to tune in weekly for sure. So check out that. But for episode 173. We're out of here. Peace.
Bye.
Yep. And right there where that hand is next week, or not next week, but maybe in the next couple weeks, it's going to be a fucking doll.
Me and my doll. Me and
That's
my
right.
doll.
That's right. See you guys later. Peace.